It's 8 o'clock and we are live in the snow from Old Catton. There might be somebody there. I've changed the night, so there might not be anybody there. Sunday is the new Friday. There might be somebody there. Okay, I'm just going to pretend there is somebody there, as well as me and Peanut. I got a poorly Peanut tonight. Got to go and see the vet tomorrow. Oh, there's somebody there. Lovely. That's so good. Oh, they've gone. I had them, lost them. Oh, 2 people there. Lovely. Just send a little thumb up or something up, smiley face or something, so I know that someone's there. The icons at the top are too small for me to see who they are. So I'm just going to pretend I've got lots and lots of friends watching. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I've got a poorly Peanut. So she's sitting with me on the desk, but whether or not she'll stay is another thing. We've got to go to the vet tomorrow. Got to go and see Dr. Chris and have a little chat. She's being spoiled. She's had some prawns. She's had some prawns. She's allowed to have prawns. Don't worry, I checked. But yeah, so she's had a bit of a treat. She's been a bit spoiled. Oh, there's a bug. Yeah, so tonight, it's a Sunday night live instead of a Friday night live, which is nice. It's a snowy one. We've not got much snow here in Norwich. There is a covering now, but that's all there really is. So tonight I thought I would talk about sleep. Huge, huge issue. Really kind of too big to cover in one evening, but I'm going to cover the basics really without delving too deeply, but just do a kind of a general stuff, so you might glean some stuff. Hello, Deb. I'm going to say some hellos. Yeah, Peanut, she looks all right. I think there's a fly in here. I think she's attention seeking really. There really is a fly in here. Hang on, you can see her. Look, there she is. Look, sitting there. I've made some notes. I daren't put them down. Every time I put them down on the desk, she sticks her bum on them. So, yeah. So her stomach, if you can hear something, is her tummy. Her tummy is like making really weird noises. Don't know what's in there. I hate to think. Yeah, so sleep then. I don't know if you're an insomniac. I don't know if you're an insomniac all the time. We all have the odd night where we don't sleep very well. Some of us have more nights than others when we don't sleep very well. Some people have no problem, just go to sleep like that at the drop of a hat. That's really infuriating for some of us, you know. You might live with a snorer. That's really annoying. I've come close to putting a pillow over people's heads. I say that lightly, but you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep and the person beside you is blissfully unaware and they're snoring, that's not. They say between 3 and 4 a.m., don't they? Is like not a good time, and it really isn't. So anyway, I thought I'd write some notes. Some of this may resonate with you, some of it won't. Some of you don't really care because you're one of the lucky ones that get plenty of sleep. So life's really different at the moment, isn't it? We're not in our usual routine. You might be working from home. Oh, here she goes. You might be working from home, trying to juggle a job with homeschooling the kids. Some of us are worried about our jobs in general. Some people have got financial issues. Some people have gotten ill. Some people have got friends and family that are ill, or you've lost somebody. So all of those things has an impact on us. It's like the new normal, but we kind of adapt really well to situations, and so there's probably a lot of people that are thinking, you know, I'm really all right, I'm coping with all of this stuff. Quite honestly, you've probably adapted to the new normal, and you perhaps don't realise that actually you're not really okay. And a lot of people have noticed that sleep has become an issue. Apparently the Google searches for insomnia have increased by 60% since the start of the pandemic. So what does that tell you? There's a lot of people struggling with sleep. For us to function properly, there's certain things that we need to give us a sense of security and contentment in general. Human nature. We need basic things. We need some basic needs met, and that includes time outside in the fresh air, natural light on your skin, and I don't mean that lightly. See what I did there? It's about vitamin D formation. We need light on our skin. We need sunlight. Even on a cloudy day, we need sunlight. We need time with loved ones. We need the tiny little social interactions, like the chat at the checkout or the chat in the newsagents or whatever that is for you. So they're tiny little things that make a huge difference. So couple that with a good diet, good balanced diet, some regular exercise, and that's really what gives us our well-being, our sense of well-being, and obviously a cat as well. So at the moment, there's a lot of things missing from that list, a lot of things. So a lot of people aren't really in their natural state of general well-being. So it's not really surprising that sleep is one of the things that is taking a bit of a hit for some people. So sleep is really important. Thousands of years ago, sleep was dangerous, because if you were asleep, you were vulnerable. So if you were a caveman, you were vulnerable while you were sleeping. You could be attacked by anything and anyone. So it's thought that we have evolved to sleep in cycles of around about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So the cycle goes from a light sleep, where you're drifting off, into a deep sleep, and then into what's called REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep. And that's rapid eye movement sleep is when you're super busy and your brain is whizzing, and that's when the dreams happen. And then from the REM sleep, you go into a brief state of wakefulness. Now, most people like to have anywhere between 6 and 9 hours sleep. It's usually around 7 to 8. So for the average person sleeping 7 to 8 hours, that sleep cycle will happen 4 or 5 times a night. So even if you think you get 8 hours solid, actually you don't, because you're in those cycles of light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, and then wakefulness. So at the beginning of the night, you get more deep sleep, but then as the night progresses, you get more REM sleep. You spend more time in REM sleep. That's because you're not so tired. So when you're REM sleeping, rapid eye movement sleep, when you're in that stage of the cycle, that's when your brain is doing its tidying up, if you like. It's coming to terms with the day, so it consolidates all the memories. You process all the emotions. It's like a tidy up. That's the section, the REM sleep, and that's also when you can wake up. That sort of REM sleep and that wakefulness time. That's when you can wake up and become aware of what's going on. And it depends what happens in that time and how you react as to whether or not you go to sleep, or if you go back to sleep, if you like. You might not even be aware that you've woken up. You just kind of come round a little bit. I've just got to show you this. Look at that face. Does she look poorly, or does she look like she's pulling a fast one? What do you think? She's very interested. I think we need to do a Zoom call so she can see you all one night. Yeah. So what happens when you go into that REM sleep, or that wakefulness time? That really governs what you do in that time, and that really governs whether or not you stay asleep. So where did I get to? Hang on a minute. Now, the worst thing you can do is grab your phone. A lot of people do. A lot of people go, oh yeah, check my Facebook in the early hours of the morning. Mobile phones and devices emit blue light, and it only takes, get this, 0.2 of a second of blue light for your brain to be stimulated and for the melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, the production of that to be inhibited. That means basically, in basic terms, you're going to wake up because it'll stimulate you to wake up. So ideally, I'm guilty of this as well. Try not to grab your phone in the middle of the night and start checking Facebook. Cheers anyway. This is actually this week wild berry infusion. It's red. I'm just pretending it's wine. Lovely. Yeah, so try not to grab your phone in the middle of the night. Try and just try and rest if you find that you're a little bit sort of aware of your surroundings, or you are starting to wake up in the middle of the night. Try and rest. Try and just lay there and try and just clear your mind. Things are going to pop into your mind. Try and just think to yourself, I'll deal with that in the morning. Or even have a notebook and a pencil by the bed, which yes, I have. That actually does help. And just try and pop it out of your mind. But at least if you're laying in bed in the dark, in the cool, not too hot in your bedroom, you're going to be resting, and you're more likely to drop off that way rather than if you're scrolling through Facebook getting wound up with what people are writing. I know, we've all been there. So sleep is important because lots of things happen while we sleep. I've got notes here because I couldn't remember all this and I wanted to cover all sorts of things. So it's the time that we repair our organs. Everything happens, rejuvenation of our bodies and our cells and our organs. Did you hear that? I think her organs are rejuvenating in there. Oh, peanutkin. When we're asleep, that's when our organs are rejuvenating, our cells are rejuvenating, things are kind of repairing and growing. So it's important for our health, our overall health. As I said, most of us need around 8 hours of good quality sleep to function. Some people need more, some people need less. How many did Margaret Thatcher have? Was it 3 or 4? Something silly. Some of us get that and we think that's good, but it's difficult to function for a lot of people on that small amount of sleep. And I think as you get older, you need less sleep as well. So try and find out how much sleep you need by going to bed and not having an alarm clock, and see how long it is before you just naturally wake and you feel good and you feel energized and you feel ready to wake up, ready to be awake. If you wake up and you are feeling tired, you're feeling sluggish, and through the day you're just like hoping you can have a little power nap somewhere, then you're not getting enough sleep. You need to try and work out a way that you can get a little bit more, whether that's going to bed a bit early. Count back the amount of hours. If you do the experiment and see, without setting an alarm clock, how long you sleep for naturally, then if you can do that when you're not working or when you don't have to be up, so then in normal terms you know that you need to be up by 7 or 6 or whatever, you know how many hours you need to work back from there as to what time you need to go to sleep, or your sleep window. I personally know that I need to be asleep by 11 o'clock, really, 11:30 latest. If I'm not asleep, if I miss my sleep window, then that's me done. I tend to be awake far too much of the night than is good for me. Yeah, I know. You've had so much sleep today. So yeah, try and find your sleep window and try and work out how many hours you need a night. Evil eyes from Peanut. Yeah, it's my little owl. So so try and work out how much sleep you need. Lots of things can cause bad sleep. Lots of medical things, like sleep apnea is one of them, but most of the cases of poor sleep are due to bad habits, apparently. Sleep deprivation, short-term sleep deprivation, so like a couple of nights of interrupted sleep, it makes you grumpy, doesn't it? Makes you irritable. We all get those days when we wake up and you just feel like you've been through the ringer. You just feel horrible. You know you're grumpy, you know you're irritable, you have to work a bit harder to be nice to people. Shouldn't really be saying this in my job, should I? Nope. No, you didn't offend Peanut. No, she's gone back to bed, funnily enough. So yeah, so after a bad night's sleep, you wake up irritable, you're grumpy, you know you're not functioning at your best, you know you're short-tempered, but long-term sleep deprivation is not good for us. It's not good for our general health, aside from the grumpiness and the irritability, which, to be fair, it's not really fair on the people around us either. But studies have shown there's higher cases of obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and a shorter life expectancy. So getting your sleep sorted out is actually really important. Otherwise it can be harmful, quite harmful to your health. So the odd one every now and again, it's not really going to do you too much damage, apart from, wanting to scream and shout at people around you, and maybe you work in a situation where you can just shut your office door and get on with it. I don't, so not always easy. I think anyone that works with people, you just have to work a bit harder, don't you, really, sometimes, and you're not at your best. But when it becomes several sleepless nights, it starts to get more serious, and long-term sleep deprivation, you can start to get brain fog. Your concentration is affected. She says, I'm going off at a tangent, all over the place. So yeah, brain fog. What was I saying? Brain fog, lack of concentration, decision making is an issue, becomes an issue. You start to feel down. Cases of anxiety rise, and depression is also on the cards as well. You can fall asleep in the daytime, in the middle of the day, and then it can start to get dangerous, can't it? If you operate machinery, you're more at risk of injury and accidents. If you drive as well, you're in your car. I've drifted off. How scary is that? You find yourself on, should I be admitting this on the internet? You find yourself on the verge, bumping along on the verge. How scary is that? And I think that's happened probably to quite a lot of us, if we're honest. So that's the time that you really need to start having a look at your sleep, because it does have really quite serious long-term effects. So I looked into some of the benefits of sleep, and I'm going to deal with tips on how to help you sleep in a little while. It's all very quiet. I've got a feeling this is going to be a short one tonight. I'm rambling on. Feel free to send messages. I don't think there's many people around tonight, actually, with it being a Sunday. Oh, I just had somebody else drop in. I know from my group of friends that there's quite a few insomniacs on my radar. I've been an insomniac forever. As a child, my mum says I never was asleep. I was one of those babies that I didn't sleep. I didn't fall off to sleep very easily at all. I was a pain in the backside, apparently. And it's horrible. It was horrible for her. And then as I got older and I was aware of it, it's horrible for me as well. And I can remember actually reading and reading and thinking, what's that noise? And it was the birds singing, and I'd actually been reading all night, and that still happens. It's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. So, but I'm kind of learning how to combat that now. But I still have nights where I just don't go to sleep. I don't even think that I really achieve anything when I'm awake much either. I don't even have any mind-blowing plans made or anything like that. So It's just frustrating. Right, so benefits of sleep, and I found 7 big ones. So, and this is actually really important at the moment. Sleep, good sleep, regular sleep, boosts immunity. So we are more able to fight off bugs. If you find that you are the sort of person that picks up anything going, you've obviously got like a low immunity, and amongst other things, look at your sleeping patterns. If your sleep is good and you're in a good sleeping pattern, you are less likely to pick up everything that's going, and you'll be more able to fend off bugs. And obviously, I think we seem to be in the middle of a pandemic, don't we, at the moment? So anything that we can do, yeah, Sam, know that feeling. Anything that we can do to boost our immunity, whether it's through diet, whether it's through exercise, whether it's through trying to have a really healthy lifestyle, popping a few multivits, making sure your zinc and your vitamin C is topped up, and obviously getting regular, decent, good night's sleep. Boost your immunity, look after yourself. The stronger you are, if you catch COVID, the more likely you are to have a mild case. I don't really want to dwell on COVID this evening, so I'm not going to. I've said a few bits, and I'm not gonna carry on. So yeah, so boost immunity with decent sleep. Number 2, it can affect your weight and weight loss and weight gain. Studies have shown that people that get less than 7 hours of sleep tend to gain more weight and have higher risk of obesity. That's quite interesting. It is believed that sleep-deprived people have reduced levels of leptin, which is a chemical which makes you feel full. So obviously, if you've got this chemical that makes you feel full and you're lacking in it, you're going to not feel full. So that's the right way around, right? Yeah. They have increased levels of ghrelin, which is the hunger stimulating hormone. So you don't want increased levels of that hunger stimulating hormone. Particularly when I'm here on my own with tins of biscuits and cakes, I don't want no more hunger stimulating hormone. What I want is more leptin to make me feel full. So yeah, so that's really quite important. Right, anyway, I'm going to wind this up and go to bed. Have a sleep. Oh, my life. Who knew? Who knew that? I mean, I knew about the immunity thing, but who knew about the weight loss? Okay, so having a good sleeping pattern boosts mental well-being. We don't want to be grumple and irritable. I've just invented a new thing, grumple. We don't want to be grumpy. We don't want to be irritable any more than we really have to be, do we? Chronic sleep deprivation can lead to depression and anxiety. And there have been surveys done, and people that have less than 6 hours of sleep tend to be prone to depression and anxiety. And I think that that's kind of sometimes a catch-22 situation, isn't it? Because if you can't sleep, that ramps up your depression sometimes, if it makes you more prone to it, and your anxiety. But then also when we're anxious, we don't sleep well, do we? So it is like a vicious circle. Not good. And we also know that people that suffer with depression and mental health issues, they're awake and they're kind of buzzing and they're wired, and the two somehow go hand in hand, which is really scary and actually really sad as well. So yeah, so good sleep boosts mental well-being. You know, how many days do you get up and you think, yes, I've had a brilliant night's sleep, I feel great, and you just feel happier, don't you? I know I do. Rather than just like trolling yourself out of bed and trying to wonder where your shoes are and everything else, and just feeling at war with the world. It's so much nicer to get out of bed and bounce out of bed and go, yeah, I feel great. How often does that happen? Grumple. I know, I've just invented a new thing. I think that there's a delay on this phone. Grumple. My new word. You don't get new words on a Friday, you only get them on a Sunday. Grumple. So that was number 3. Number 4. Yeah. Studies again have shown that those people that get less than 5 hours sleep are increased risk of developing diabetes, in particular diabetes type 2. When you're missing your deep sleep, so that section of the sleep cycle I mentioned where we go into deep sleep before REM sleep, so when you miss your deep sleep, it can change the way the body processes the glucose, and that's what we use for our energy. I'm not going to go into the whole glucose, insulin, diabetes thing, because that'll take me down another rabbit hole. But yeah, so the studies have shown that people that get less than 5 hours on a regular basis are more at risk from diabetes type 2. It's not looking good, is it, really? Who knew that sleeping was so important, other than just to make you grumple? So number 6, regular decent sleep, a good sleep pattern can help to ward off heart disease. I'm sorry to be all doom and gloom tonight, blimey, as if we haven't got enough to cope with. So it helps to ward off heart disease. Long-standing sleep deprivation seems to be associated with an increase in heart rate, an increase in blood pressure, high blood pressure, and higher levels of chemicals linked with inflammation, and therefore all those things put an extra strain on the heart. You'll want to go to bed now, don't you? Go and get yourself a cup of cocoa and off you go to bed. Everyone got the PJs on? Yeah, go and get your Jimmy Jams on. Who doesn't love clean linen on the bed? I changed mine today. Lovely. It's brushed cotton as well because it's snowy outside. And number 7, it increases fertility. Regular sleep disruptions can cause a reduction in the secretion of reproductive hormones. So for anybody trying to conceive, you need to get your sleep, because obviously sleep affects absolutely all of the systems of our body. And as I said at the beginning, sleep is when we rest, we repair and we rejuvenate, and the body kind of resets itself. No wonder we feel so rough when we don't get enough sleep. Angie's in her PJs. I'm actually not in my PJs. I did think about putting my PJs on, but I decided against it this evening. I'm in my thermals. Blooming cold, isn't it? I don't think it's quite the beast from the east, though, is it? It's more like the problem from down the road, really, rather than the beast from the east. Okay, so they are some of the effects of long-term sleep deprivation. It's not looking good. But what I've also done is, let's make sure I haven't missed anything. No. What I've also done is found some things to help you sleep. So try and establish a regular bedtime, a regular sleeping pattern. And when I was in my early teens, I'm loving that you're in your PJs. When I was in my early teens, confession time, I ended up on sleeping pills. I wasn't sleeping, and it went on for night after night after night, and things started to struggle. I started to struggle with my schoolwork. I struggled at home. I just struggled. It was horrible. And so I ended up on sleeping pills. And I was about 12, 13, so not good, actually, really not good. But basically the doctor said I had gotten out of the habit of going to sleep. Sleep is a habit. I'd got into bad habits. You get out of that. Oh, damn, I'm missing my virtual guided tour of the Taj Mahal. don't worry, I'm staying here. I just had a little pop up. So yeah, so the doctor basically said, you've got out of the habit of going to sleep. You need to get back into the habit. You need to get back into a pattern. It's a habit forming thing. So as I've already mentioned, that sleep window, well, I call it my sleep slot. If I miss my sleep slot, I'm done for. So if my book is really good, then the book gets finished usually overnight. Or I never used to be a worrier, but I am now. So I know that my brain gets busy, and it's a bit like, my brain is a bit like when I close my eyes, it's a bit like a house with a party going on inside, but the curtains are closed. So I actually look like there's not a lot going on, but inside there's like a hell of a party. There's all sorts of things going on. I've been tired all evening, and then all of a sudden I'm in bed, and it's bing, I'm awake, and that is it. And there's all sorts of stuff going on. It's a bit like I put on my header for this event, was like, too tired to think, too tired to think, too tired to think, too tired to think, all night, all evening, and then get into bed, bing, how do dragons blow out candles? I mean, really, and do penguins have knees? It's crazy. So try and get yourself into a regular bedtime routine, if you like. Try and go to bed, if you can, around about the same time every evening. Usually people find that their sleep window is between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. usually. It might be slightly earlier depending on your routine. You know, you might have to get up at 5, you might have to get up at 4, but set your bedtime to reflect the amount of hours of sleep that you think you need, really. Mostly it's not a problem for people to have that sleep window. Some people don't need a sleep window. They can just go to bed whenever they get into bed, and 10 minutes later they're gone, they're out like a light. But for insomniacs, actually, that sleep slot, that sleep window tends to be more important, that habit of going to bed at a certain time, and maybe having a routine as well, to wind down. So like, you prepare for bed, prepare for sleep. Oh my God, can you imagine just your whole life revolving around what time you're going to bed? It's like 4 p.m. Right, last cup of coffee, going to bed at 10, last cup of coffee, 4 p.m. 5 p.m, better have some tea, going to bed in a few hours. 6 o'clock, turn off the computer. But actually, these are kind of valid points. They are going somewhere. So yeah, so find the best routine that works for you. There are certain things that will help some people. Some things won't make a difference to anybody. Sometimes some people have been in bad habits for so long that those habits take a long time to break. So it doesn't always work overnight. No pun intended. So, a few tips then. Try to wind down before your bedtime. Warm baths, not hot. Don't have hot baths. And often a bath is better than a shower. Showers tend to be a little bit more zingy, a little bit more stimulating. But obviously, if you don't have a bath, then have a shower. Try and make it not too hot, because you want your body to be at the right temperature for sleep, and that's not too hot. If it's too hot, you'll just be uncomfortable for a start. That also actually increases your blood pressure. It's not the best. Have a hot bath isn't the best thing for you. So try and just have a nice warm bath. You can add some essential oils if that's your thing. Again, some people hate essential oils. I mean, that's a bit of a wide statement. There are oils that are better for some sleep than others, like lavender, but I didn't realise how many people don't like lavender. Lavender, geranium, clary sage sometimes. Sometimes just choose one that you like, actually. Rose is a nice one. Rose is an expensive one. Chamomile. Chamomile's a bit of a sedative one. It's a calming, relaxing one. If you're going to put oils in the bath, I talked about this one other week. If you're going to put oils in the bath, get your temperature right of your bath first. And then you only need 4 or 5 drops in the bath water, and zhuzh it around. Make sure that you really, really aggravate the water to disperse the oils, because sometimes neat oils on skin equals rash. All right, you don't want that. So a warm bath in the evening. Do your to-do lists for your next day. If you've got stuff going on and you're working the next day, or even you've got stuff going on with the kids, or even not, just write a list, get it all out of your head so that you know. And I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm there in bed 2 o'clock in the morning going, oh my God, I need tea bags. Oh, I need toilet roll or whatever. So get your to-do lists. Just calm your busy brain. Get it all down, what you need to do the next day. Put a pen and paper by your bed if that's what does it for you. Then just get it all down there. Get all your stuff out. Even if it's the stuff that you're worrying about, just get it all on paper. Relaxation exercises, there are lots around. It doesn't mean to do a full-blown yoga session. You don't have to go be doing your up doggy down dog and your cobras. Just do some light stretches, even just sitting in your armchair. You can just do some, certainly around the upper body where the shoulders tend to be stiff and your neck can get stiff. So you can just do some neck rolls and some shoulder shrugs and then drops, and then ear to shoulder. Oh, that's tight. Ear to shoulder, and then just chin on your chest and up again. Just a little bit of stretching and some mobility stuff. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. If anyone wants to talk to me about stretches and stretching techniques, then message me. I'll go through some stuff with you, no problem. But a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of light stretching is lovely. You can even do it in your chair. Just lay on the floor and just let everything flump out. Relaxation CDs. Apparently there is no proof that whale sounds have any effect on us. But if you like whale sounds, then you knock yourself out. But there are a lot of there's like Audible books now, and there's a lot of narrated scripts. There's hypnotic music, there's meditation apps, there's all sorts of things if that's what you respond to. I've just discovered Audible and narrated books. So when I'm still awake but my eyes are so gritty that they're really sore and I can't read but my brain's still zinging around, I get these narrated books, and that's actually really good for me. It's like, it feels a bit like reading the same page over and over and over again, because I wake up and I've kind of missed a load of the story. I haven't got a clue what's going on. But I found this one the other night, and this woman, it was a CD or it was a thing on YouTube or whatever, and apparently her voice got slower and deeper the more times she read. And it was really annoying to start with, actually. She had a real strong American accent, and she spoke like this, and it got really, really annoying. So I had to turn her off because it was really winding me up. So find one that you like. Sometimes they've got ladies' voices, sometimes men's voices. But yeah, it's a personal thing. Oh, why am I freezing? Don't know why I'm freezing. I'm still here. I've got full internet, so I don't know. So yeah, relaxation CDs. A book or radio. Listen to the radio to distract your busy mind, or a book, unless you can't read because your eyes are gritty like mine. In fact, you can listen to a book or listen to a radio. No screens in the bedroom, no gadgets in the bedroom. I mentioned blue light before. It would just stimulate you awake again. So don't have any screens, don't have any gadgets near you, don't have any temptation in your bedroom. Caffeine is a stimulant. You really should try not to drink any caffeine for 6 hours before you go to bed. The effects of caffeine take about 45 minutes to kick in. and last 3 to 5 hours. And apparently a safe amount of caffeine to drink is 4 to 5 cups of brewed coffee a day. And I'm going to say this, although I wouldn't advise it, up to 10 cans of Coke. Now that's when we talk about caffeine, not sugar, so let's not even go there. So 4 to 5 brewed coffees a day, and stop 6 hours before you go to bed. If you drink a lot of caffeine, just because you don't have any caffeine for a few days, 6 hours before you go to bed, that ain't necessarily going to make too much difference. So for people that say, oh, I gave it up for a week, it didn't make any difference, you need to try it for a lot longer, because your body gets very used to the effects of caffeine, and it's a long-term effect. So you need to try and undo those long-term effects with long-term solutions. And that sounded really patronising, and I certainly didn't mean it to. But give your body a break from the caffeine. It is a stimulant. And as I say, long-term caffeine has a long-term effect. So you need to try for longer to allow it to allow the effects to be undone, really. So those things may help you sleep. And then I've got, I've talked about it all, haven't I? Because I talked about the benefits. Where's my other bit of paper? The benefits of sleep. But I've talked about those, done those. So if you can nail the sleep thing, then you're going to get all the benefits that I mentioned, those 7 benefits. Yes, 7 benefits when you get decent sleep. And as I say, you know, in an ideal world, we'd all go to bed, wouldn't we, and have 8 hours sleep. Lovely. Just don't live in an ideal world, do we? There are some treatments that we do. You knew I couldn't talk about stuff without mentioning beauty therapy and treatments. There are some treatments that are better for sleep than others, and again, it's what resonates with you personally. Some people respond very well to massage. Some people it makes no difference at all. Some people will come in for an aromatherapy massage, and if we can get the oils, the blend right, then people report that they've had the brilliant night's sleep that night. Sometimes it might take 2 or 3 sessions to actually get the blend right. Indian head massage, very, very good for sleep, very good for insomnia, very good for calming a busy brain. Indian head, for me, is like someone going into my head and tidying up, putting everything away and having a nice old tidy. It's lovely. But again, it's what works for you, whether it's reflexology, one of the holistics, reflexology, aromatherapy, Indian head massage, stone massage, hot stone massage, very balancing, or even just, you know what, the basics of having a good old chat with somebody, clearing the air, having a bit of a blether, and being nice to yourself for a little while. But yeah, hopefully you will have picked up something that may or may not help. You can always message me if you want any more information. I'm constantly reading, constantly learning. I've got a feeling there's not many people around tonight, but feel free to message. The reason I didn't do a facial this week is because the facials in a box have actually, they sold out, so I'm just waiting for the order to come, which should be coming this week. So I'm hoping that the next live will be a live facial. So watch out for the events on the events page. I'll put that up. And other than that, thank you for being there. Peanut's fast asleep. She's obviously had her bath, done her stretching, put her pyjamas on, got clean linen on her bed, and she's nodded off. Lucky old her. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you next time. See you soon.